So the last major site we visited in Western Turkey was Ephesus.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked, that city had, when it was, say, around the time of, in the early, 0 to 100 in that era, it had 250,000 people.
250.
Yeah, Arshuwan. And that 250,000, that's a lot of people. That it was a major port city.
And yeah, I went online and you can see the geographical change in the past hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Because before the water got really close to the city, it was a really ideal natural port for ships to come from all over the world. But it's like some sticky sand or stuff that kept accumulating there. So the water was like being filled up with a marsh.
Now it's just there's a bit of a boggy swamp there now. That's all that's left, and it's about 5 kilometers from the sea. But next to that port, anyway, next to that water access, there was a really big, they used to call them agora. It's like a public square, open space with building all around it. And we were wandering around in that space. You and I were talking about how urban that place felt.
Yeah.
So why did it feel urban to you?
Well, one thing was the dynamic of the landscape there. Like in Hierapolis, it felt broad and wide, like scattered, like satellites of elements together.
It was pretty flat, actually.
But Ephesus was like just one event, one thing, and just immediately a few steps later, something else. Like you walk in there, you see this huge amphitheater that could hold what, more than 100,000 people?
No, I don't think that many.
Tens of thousands.
Yeah, I think more than 20,000. It's very, very big.
And that just gives a glimpse of what the population could have been like back then.
Yeah. Well, after I heard that there was 250,000 people lived there, that means 10% of the population could be together in one place at one time. But you were saying about the urban feeling. What?
Yeah, like you walk away from there, and then it's that agora area that probably before was a big market. It had like little, almost like kiosks, like doors. And the description said these merchants, mostly they were selling seafood-based stuff. A lot of it, because it was close to a seacoast, and it's so spacious, and you can almost hear the sound of people bargaining over prices and saying hello, and that liveliness of that place. Because when you think of the amphitheater, it could be where people do fancier stuff, talk about politics, serious stuff, or watch a play or something. While that market is just really down to earth, food-related life where people do business. And when you're standing there, when I was taking pictures, I just tilt my head back and the huge amphitheater is right there.
Yeah.
And then when you walk away from that area, 2 minutes later, you get to this library building. Yeah.
That's become like the landmark of the town. It's even a logo, a representation of the city, and even of all of the Christian architecture or Christian-related architecture. It's a symbol of Ephesus, a symbol of like maybe Roman presence and Christian presence in Turkey. It's a very famous building.
Yeah, and I was confused a bit at first. Like, how could that be a library? Because it's like a tiny rectangular shape there. So I saw pictures of it when it was supposed to be like. It had a few floors. So they're stacking books like that, and people would walk, up and down a little bit to get the books. And then when you go out of that library, turn left of it, there's an outhouse, like a public toilet. The thing about it is, I assume it had a roof, probably.
Probably, yeah.
Well, when we were standing there, if you tilt your head again, you see the library.
Yeah, that's right.
So these elements are closely intact, like they're really intact together. And then when you walk away from that area, you see this staircase, like sloped compound of buildings there.
Oh, you're talking about there's 4 or 6 kind of houses built together with shared walls, and they're very, very spacious villas, each one of them. Each one of them had like welcoming courtyards.
Yeah.
Some open to the air on the sky above, some were covered. And a lot of the walls are still there, and some frescoes are still there.
And the walls, remember, they were made of, like, cut from thin plates of rock?
Yeah, some of the rooms had marble, marble slabs cut in big, like 1 meter by 2 meters, huge pieces of stone. And they were cut quite thin. And you could see the wavy patterns of the marble, but and like a high level of skill, because they would cut a piece of stone, and then if you cut a piece of stone, and then if you open it like this, you get a mirror image.
Yeah.
And they would repeat that and sort of generate a pattern, which became part of the interior design of those houses of some very wealthy people. So they saved those, and. There's these sort of sights that you would experience just walking along a street.
Just one element after another.
Yeah, and that's, to me, after I saw that, it helped me think of what does the word urban mean? Like, if I go to Beijing and I think about the old city, it had a huge wall around it with gates. And then you go inside the outer city, and then there's an inner city, and then an inner city. Finally, the throne of the emperor. It's like there's these zones that are cut off one from another. It's like the whole city is almost like a palace with you live in your part. Even the Hutons back then had gates at either end, like you were locked in at night. But this place felt like it's like more like the blood circulation in the human body. Everything was connected, everything else, quite openly, quite freely.
Yeah, had a laissez-faire feeling.
It seemed like it grew sort of organically, and this kind of openness between things. You walk along the street, here's the public toilet, here's the rich people's houses, here's a little temple built here, and probably in the big open center they had like they were just with like maybe cloth roofs, temporary stalls set up. They come and go. More permanent ones it must have been a really, really lively place.
Yeah, compared to Hierapolis, I would say Ephesus had a 热闹 feeling.
Very lively feeling. The key thing is they had open space, open to the public, I assume open to everybody, men, women, slaves, probably everybody was there. It didn't have this sense of the strata of society had to live in their different quarters, separate from each other. And,
like a powerful ruling class displaying their power and wealth.
Or maybe you never see it until they open the big gates and their chariot comes out or something. But this place felt like there was a level of openness and relaxation.
Yeah, something more human or...
More modern.
More modern?
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a shame of the inevitable fall of that city due to the geographical consequence. Because when I was looking online, that city, it dates back to really, really old ancient Greek days, like 1000 BC or something.
Maybe.
A prince from some Ionic part of Greece, he came here.
1,000 years before.
BC.
BC.
Yeah,
Okay.
very,
Well,
very.
that's even like maybe before
mythical.
Greece or way back in the time.
It just said he's Ionic from that part.
Okay.
His father died, he was a king, so he had to flee or something, so he established something new there. This liveliness of Ephesus really makes me want to ponder what's it like to be there. And that leads to preconditions like probably no good sanitation and the classification of people. You might want to be a slave, and maybe it's not that happy or something. And so all these ideas actually trace back to this Chinese Taoist 庄子 idea. If you're not the fish, how do you know if the fish is happy or not?
Yeah.
So when I think about Ephesus, like, I'm not from that time period. How would I know? How would I compare with today's standards? Like, they don't have cars. Probably they're not happy.
Just from the layout of the town, you can just imagine walking on that street that's between the amphitheater and the market agora. That must have been a street jammed with people all the time. Lively, and people coming and going from all over the Mediterranean were coming there. A lot of traffic. All these Christians coming from Jerusalem. It's just a lot going on there.
Definitely, there was a strong sense of community.
Yeah,
well, there had to be.
Had to be, yeah. And if you look at one of the maps of the travels of the 12 disciples, it's almost like everybody crisscrosses through Ephesus. It's very cosmopolitan. It must have been, because those people had been to India, Spain, London. They'd been Africa, and they all went back to Ephesus.
Yeah, you can imagine Ephesus 就是当时地中海的上海那种。
Yeah, it's a very, very lively center.
Yeah, I really would like to be a citizen there and eat some fish.
Okay. You sit out there.
Inside yogurt. Oh, yogurt on the side.
今天我们吃一个土耳其街边摊儿。
Lentil 中文叫什么？
什么？
什么豆？
什么豆？
豆汤。
豆汤。他们这个薯条里边配一些茄子，挺有意思的。然后跟那个 yogurt 酸奶和在一块儿，然后还配一个 salad。然后无论你点什么，都是一大堆面包、大碳水。